The Boston Celtics are in firm command of their first-round playoff series against the Orlando Magic, holding a commanding 2-0 lead. But while the scoreboard tells a story of dominance, the details reveal a tougher battle, one marked by blood, bruises, and lingering questions about the team's health moving forward. The second game delivered a moment that will be replayed for days. Kristaps Porzingis, the Celtics' towering big man, took a brutal elbow to the forehead, leaving the court momentarily as trainers rushed to stop the bleeding. For those squeamish about such scenes, consider this your warning, because what followed was nothing short of visceral. Porzingis, with a fresh gash splitting his brow, returned to the floor moments later to shoot his free throws, the crowd at TD Garden roaring in approval as he flashed a grin, almost relishing the moment. This wasn't his first time playing through pain. Just weeks earlier, he'd suffered a similar cut on the bridge of his nose, another bloody badge of honor in a season where toughness has become part of his identity. Post-game reports confirmed Porzingis needed multiple stitches, some say as many as 5, to close the wound. Yet there he was in the press conference, downplaying the injury with the casual demeanor of a man who just nicked himself shaving. "I love my WWE moments," he joked, referencing his knack for turning pain into theater. The fans ate it up, treating the sight of their bloodied star as some kind of warrior's ritual. Even his teammates couldn't resist poking fun, with one quipping, "This guy needs his own reality show." But while Porzingis' injury seems more spectacle than setback, the bigger concern lies with Jason Tatum, who sat out Game 2 with a bone bruise in his right wrist. The Celtics franchise player has never missed a playoff game in his career before this, which speaks volumes about the severity of the discomfort. Bone bruises don't heal overnight. They demand rest, and with Boston's championship aspirations, every minute Tatum misses is a calculated risk. The question isn't whether the Celtics can survive Orlando without him. They already proved they can, pulling away in Game 2 behind Jalen Brown's scoring and Derek White's clutch plays. The real dilemma is balancing short-term survival with long-term ambitions. Because while this Magic team might not pose enough firepower to overcome Boston even at less than full strength, the road ahead, whether it's Cleveland, New York, or eventually the Western Conference's elite, will require Tatum at his best. So, do the Celtics rush him back for Game 3? Or do they buy him extra recovery time, gambling that their depth can handle Orlando's inconsistent offense? History suggests caution. This core has been burned before by playing hurt in the playoffs. But with the TD Garden crowd hungry for a sweep and the momentum squarely in their favor, the pressure to close this series early will be immense. One thing's certain. If Porzingis can laugh through stitches and Tatum's absence barely slows Boston down, the rest of the East should be worried. Because even wounded, these Celtics look every bit the contenders they were billed to be. The beauty of these Boston Celtics lies not just in their stars, but in their ability to weather storms that would sink lesser teams. With Jason Tatum sidelined, the spotlight shifted to Jalen Brown, who responded with the kind of two-way dominance that reminds everyone why he's an all-NBA talent. But what truly separates this squad from previous iterations is how the role players have stepped into the void. Derek White slicing through defenses with his underrated playmaking, Al Horford turning back the clock with clutch threes, and Peyton Pritchard bringing his trademark chaos energy off the bench. Orlando, meanwhile, looks like a team realizing the harsh realities of playoff basketball. Paolo Banchero's flashes of brilliance can't mask his shooting struggles, while Franz Wagner's inconsistency has become a glaring issue. The Magic's defense, their calling card all season, has been picked apart by Boston's motion offense, particularly in the third quarters where the Celtics have unleashed devastating runs. It's telling that Orlando's best stretch came when Porzingis was briefly sidelined after his injury. The moment he returned, Boston immediately re-established control. The medical reports suggest Tatum could suit up for Game 3, but there's a compelling argument for keeping him rested. The Celtics have been historically good on the road this season, a league-best 27-14 away record, and stealing one in Orlando without their best player would essentially end this series. More importantly, it would buy Tatum precious recovery time before the inevitable dogfights awaiting in later rounds. Yet for all of Boston's advantages, there's an undercurrent of tension surrounding their crunch time execution. The Celtics' habit of taking their foot off the gas nearly cost them Game 1, when a 30-point lead shrunk to single digits before some late heroic sealed it. Against better opponents, those lapses will be punished mercilessly. As for Porzingis, his willingness to play through pain has endeared him to Boston's fan base in ways stats never could. There's something symbolic about seeing the 7-footer, once labeled as injury-prone, grinning through bloodied eyebrows while sinking free throws. His presence alone warps Orlando's defensive schemes, creating driving lanes that Brown and White have exploited mercilessly. The Magic's path back into this series requires near-perfect basketball. Banchero must attack the rim with purpose instead of settling for jumpers. Their role players need to hit open threes. They're shooting just 28% from deep this series. And coach Jamal Mosley must find an answer for Boston's small ball lineups that have rendered Orlando's size advantage moot. What makes these playoffs fascinating is how quickly narratives shift. A single Orlando win at home changes the entire complexion of this series. But right now, the Celtics aren't just beating the Magic. They're dismantling them systematically, proving that even without their best player, their championship aspirations are very much alive. The TD Garden crowd's chants of sweep still echo, but the Celtics locker room knows this series is far from over. Orlando's home court awaits, a place where the Magic have been a different beast all season. And now, with the stakes raised and Boston's health in flux, Game 3 becomes a fascinating test of strategy, endurance, and just how badly this Celtics team wants to avoid unnecessary drama. Let's talk about Jason Tatum first. The man's competitive fire is well documented. He's the type who would play through a broken hand if the training staff let him. But here's the thing. Bone bruises don't care about toughness. They're nagging, persistent, and, if mismanaged, can linger deep into a playoff run. The Celtics medical team faces a delicate balancing act. Push Tatum too soon, and they risk aggravating the injury before the real battle's ahead. Hold him out longer, and they gamble with letting Orlando back into a series that should be firmly under control. Early reports suggest Tatum is pushing to play, but the decision might come down to the final moments before tip-off. There's a compelling case for restraint. The Magic's offense has been stuck in mud, their half-court sets crumbling against Boston's switching defense, their shooters going ice-cold under playoff pressure. Even without Tatum, the Celtics have more than enough weapons to exploit Orlando's weaknesses. Jalen Brown has been a force, attacking the rim with a ferocity that's left the Magic scrambling. Derek White, the unsung hero of this series, continues to do everything. Hit threes, make plays, even take charges. And then there's Porzingis, whose mere presence forces Orlando into defensive rotations they simply can't sustain. But let's not pretend this is just about X's and O's. Playoffs are about momentum, and right now, the Celtics have all of it. There's a psychological edge to being up 2-0, knowing your opponent is searching for answers. Orlando's young core, Banchero, Wagner, Suggs, are talented, but they're also learning hard lessons about the intensity of playoff basketball. The turnovers, the rushed shots, the defensive miscommunications, they all point to a team still figuring things out. That said, the Magic aren't dead yet. Home crowds in the playoffs have a way of energizing teams, and Orlando's physical brand of basketball could become even more aggressive on their own floor. If they can finally knock down open threes, a big if, this series could get interesting fast. But Boston's defense has been a nightmare for them, smothering drives, closing out hard on shooters, and forcing the Magic into the exact shots they don't want to take. The biggest question isn't whether the Celtics can win this series, it's how they win it. A sweep would be a statement, sending a message to the rest of the East that Boston isn't messing around. But even a single loss in Orlando would mean extra games, extra minutes, extra wear and tear before the next round. For a team with championship aspirations, every bit of rest matters. One thing's for sure, the Celtics aren't taking their foot off the gas. The way they've closed out games, with poise, with execution, with that killer instinct, shows a maturity that previous Boston teams lacked. Whether Tatum plays or not, This group understands the assignment. The Magic are wounded. Now's the time to be ruthless. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Jalen Wilson's arrival in Boston represents a pivotal moment for both the player and the storied franchise. The 6'8" forward, known for his high basketball IQ and two-way versatility, has signed with the Celtics after a standout collegiate career at Kansas and a promising stint in the NBA G League. Boston's front office, eager to add depth and athleticism on the wing, targeted Wilson for his ability to stretch the floor, defend multiple positions, and make timely plays in high-pressure situations. From the moment Wilson stepped onto the parquet at TD Garden, fans sensed his quiet confidence. In his introductory press conference, he spoke of embracing Boston's winning culture, learning from veterans like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, and contributing wherever the team needs him most. "I'm here to work," Wilson declared, projecting humility beyond his #1 scoring rank at Kansas during his junior year. Coaches praised his unselfish approach, pointing to his willingness to set hard screens, crash the offensive glass, and make extra passes to generate open looks. Defensively, Wilson brings the length and lateral quickness necessary to guard both wings and even some smaller bigs. His 7-foot wingspan and disciplined footwork allow him to hedge on pick and rolls and recover to shooters, an attribute especially valued in the Eastern Conference, where explosive guards abound. Offensively, his mid-range pull-up and three-point shooting have steadily improved, translating into an inside-outside threat that fits the Celtics' motion offense philosophy. Teammates laud his work ethic in practice, noting that he arrives early, studies film diligently, and communicates constantly on the floor. The signing of Wilson also underscores Boston's commitment to building sustainable success through balance and youth infusion. Alongside cornerstone stars and emerging talents, Wilson's addition bolsters a rotation already deep at forward. His blend of skill sets enhances tactical flexibility for head coach Joe Mazzulla, who can deploy small ball lineups or utilize Wilson as a matchup disruptor against heavier frontcourts. As the regular season approaches, expectations are high. Wilson will be counted on to carve out meaningful minutes, deliver in crunch time, and embody the relentless spirit that defines Celtics basketball. For Jalen Wilson, this chapter in Boston is more than a contract. It's an opportunity to cement his place in the NBA and contribute to a franchise that prizes tradition and championship pedigree. As he dons the green and white, Wilson stands ready to write his own story amid the echoes of past legends, eager to leave his mark on the Celtics' quest for another banner. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.